However, one thing that's definitely gone in the right direction:
Star
Vision
Wars.
Season 2.
Yes.
I loved Vision Season 1.
So did I.
I didn't know if they'd be able to top it. However, going to more than just anime studios was a stroke of genius.
Yes.
The variety of art and animation styles and stories we got in these 9
Mm-hmm.
episodes, give me a season of Visions every 2 years for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, I have a note I wrote, and it was just like overall, the range of like cultural influence that we got to see in these Star Wars stories was amazing. The range of styles, some really pushing the boat out, some more like traditional styles and stuff we've seen before. For example, the Aardman Studios, like sticking to their iconic style. But like
Yeah.
some of the styles were very much out there and new, and we got such a wide range of just experiences in a
Yeah.
Star Wars universe.
What I will say is, although like the cultural influence was there in season 1, because they were all anime and Japanese and
Hmm.
Korean studios, the influence felt consistent throughout them all,
Yes.
which made it less noticeable. Whereas having all of the voice actors be
More,
speaking in the same accent because they're all clearly from wherever that studio's based
yeah.
made it feel so diverse and wonderful.
Yeah.
Like that episode, I think it was episode 7, which was the one with the very clearly Indian
Yes. But
studio.
very clearly influenced by their culture
Yeah,
and
just gorgeous. I mean,
yeah.
the artwork was gorgeous, but also just seeing how naturally that Indian culture can fit in a Star Wars universe and not feel weird to have it there is just phenomenally well done. And just like everyone from around the world getting
Mm-hmm.
to have their Star
Yeah.
Wars moment just felt nice and right
It
and real.
really did. And it's like it all works so well because obviously Star Wars is such a huge universe of like and stuff we haven't seen. It's like it's not a weird concept to have these cultures exist
Yeah, of course.
in the Star Wars world. So it works perfectly, and it's such a smart idea for these studios to lean on that.
Yeah,
There was
for
like
sure.
one consistent kind of small detail I feel like kind of traveled through them all in this season.
Go on.
There was a strong focus on kyber crystals
Yes, I was literally going to say that.
and like throughout, and I don't know whether this was like Star Wars gave all these studios like we like a like maybe focus around kyber crystals or something, or if it's just by chance. But I did quite
I
like that.
I don't know if they give them a brief and they're like, here is what we want your episode to focus on, or like this series, our main themes are this. Do that however you want to do it. Or if a bunch of artists went, Kyber crystals are fucking awesome. Can we do a story about kyber crystals? Which also seems very possible.
Yeah, part of me is like either they give a brief or the studios go with like drafts and like pitch story ideas, and maybe then Disney was kept telling the studios like, oh, we like the kyber crystal one on, and kind of like influence it
Like,
that way.
like
Or
was it episode 9 that was the little girl with the voice in the kyber
yes,
crystals? Like that was beautiful.
I wonder is like there's so little kind of already written. Like there's stuff about kyber crystals, but there's very little like hard canon facts about it that
Well, we also
the
know that
studios just had
Visions
more.
just doesn't have to follow any rules.
Well,
They can do whatever they want.
also that, and it's like there's just that gives them more freedom to do whatever they want, and it not seem like oh this goes like too closely against canon or something. Like there's no one can really question anything about kyber crystals.
But also, I think there is a big yearning amongst Star Wars fans to see more of Kyber Crystal. Like
Yeah.
everyone wants to see a Kyber Crystal get bled and get
Mm-hmm.
healed in live action. So
Yeah.
then, when you've got 9 episodes and there's like 4 or 5 of them where you see a Kyber Crystal going through some kind of change
Mm-hmm.
in this beautiful animated style, you do kind of just want to go, wow.
Yeah, give us
And
that in
it once again
actual.
goes to show that animation can capture stuff
Mm-hmm.
that live action and CGI will never be able to do. Never. Because the whole point of CGI is to make it look like
Yeah.
realistic for the real world, which means these big crazy things that they do to give off the right emotion and the right sense of what's going on just isn't possible.
No, I agree.
I need every adult who thinks animation is just for kids to grow the fuck up so that we can start getting the best possible content from the franchises we love.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've made notes on rough little notes on all the episodes. I don't know if you. So
No,
like
I
that.
have not, but it's all very fresh in my mind. So as you talk, I will
So
regurgitate my
episode
thoughts.
one was called Sif,
Yeah,
and I thought out of all of them had the most interesting visual style with that like painterly effect and the kind of use of like the pure white with the color and showing light versus darkness. I loved the style of that episode.
it was definitely the perfect episode to have at number one
Mm-hmm.
because it sets the tone of you are going to see stuff that you're not used to seeing.
Yes.
In the sense of we are going to have fun with how everything looks in the Star Wars universe. And I think because that one does it so aggressively,
Yeah.
it really makes all of the other ones easier to digest.
Yeah. It really sets the tone for what to
Yeah.
expect. And um I love the design of the Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm. Kick ass.
Um and the like the two guys that were with her. And the little droid was cool as shit. And
What was
I
that? Was that easy one or
yeah,
E something?
something like that. And the fucking one wheel bike. There was so many cool things with that. Just the level of like um world building and design they put into that
Yeah.
episode was great.
It was very cool. The lightsaber battle towards the end was phenomenal.
Mhm.
We kind of saw her teasing that she might become like a grey Jedi
Well,
because
yeah,
she
she
was
had
like,
like
"Oh,
a
the light and
yellow.
the light and the dark exist in one, and they exist in me," which is interesting. But I think overall, it was just like a battle episode with not a lot else to it.
Yeah,
And
it
don't
was.
get me wrong, a pure battle episode with such a striking art style is still a
Mhm.
brilliant way to spend
Oh yeah.
15 minutes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Episode two was Screecher's Reach, which was the.
That was a lot of fun.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was interesting. It definitely was like out of all nine was probably my least favorite. Not meaning that it was bad, just it wasn't on my preferred. I don't know, it just didn't hit the spot for me.
I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say I'd put it above any of the others either way. I think I rate this entire series just very high.
Yeah.
Is there any other ones that I didn't enjoy as much as this one?
Um. Well, episode three was the Into the Stars, I think it was called, which was the
Oh,
water
that
treatment.
that was the 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 design of the TIE fighter right at the very beginning
Yes.
sold me on that instantly. I was like, yes, that is gorgeous. I love
The
the story. I love seeing more of a I don't want to call it less developed, but a more traditional world that was clearly in an earlier stage of civilization.
mhm.
And like seeing these two kids who managed to survive it all. Clearly, they had a force sensitive mother, and they're like, no, we're going to fight and get our home back and kick the Empire out. Was beautiful.
Yeah, like loved the style and loved the contrast that we got between like the empire and industrialization and stuff. I will say, in a 15-minute short, I've never come to find a kid so annoying as not just listen to your damn sister and stop screwing up the plan. Like I got so annoyed that that kid didn't listen, and I'm like, this is a 15-minute short, and it's got me this like
Heated.
yes, which just shows how good it was with the story it was telling.
Did you it's it's just dawned on me. They
Mm.
must give the studios the same brief because not only was there a running theme around kyber crystals, there was a running theme that all of these seem to take place during the Empire's reign,
Yeah, maybe they set a time
and they're
period.
all a little bit rebellious as well.
Yeah,
The only one that doesn't follow kyber crystal or rebellion is the pilot episode, which I think is number 4.
yeah, which is next. Yeah, no, I would say maybe they set a period of time. It wouldn't surprise me that they've all gone rebellious by their own choice because it just makes for a good little 50-minute story. Like to have somebody going against, like
But yeah, you don't have to set up the conflict yourself because it's a well-established conflict that's
yeah,
already there.
it wouldn't surprise me if they all just happen to decide to do that. But yeah, episode 4, like you said, was the Aardman Studio one. I am
Yeah,
your
Wallace and Gromit.
mother.
Yeah, I am
Love,
your mother.
like you can't go wrong with the Aardman style.
That
Like,
that style looks so right for Star Wars.
yeah,
I wasn't sure what to expect. I knew it would obviously still be iconic, and I'd recognize it, and it wouldn't feel alien to me. But the second I saw that pilot in like the rebel pilot uniform,
hmm
I kind of was like, "Oh, that looks right. That looks really right."
yeah. There's something
Petition for
about
the Clone Wars to be remade in Oddman style.
what,
Thoughts?
honestly, like I could see a more, like some sort of animated film being done by Aardman. Like it fit
Yeah,
so
it
well.
really worked, especially for like a brighter, slightly happier story.
Yeah, and
Um, I'm not sure how well it would handle like an Order 66 type scene, but if you wanted to do a kind of fun adventure in the Star Wars universe style story, you could definitely use that style and make it work.
I've just had because so when we talked about season 2 in the trailer and we saw the different studios and stuff, I mentioned that Aardman Studio did a thing called Creature Comforts, which is where they
Yeah.
like did those TV style interviews with animals. Imagine that style of show where we get like a short a week and it's them like TV interview of a stormtrooper, TV interview of a rebel pilot, and it's like just so like British humor of what like sarcasm and to the point of like what the heck would actually be going on and then like the day-to-day complaints of these people. I think that actually would make for a great short series, especially with the Aardman style. I think it would work so well.
Yeah. I will say, while I'm not against a embarrassing parent storyline, it's a classic. It works. They did not do a very good job of making that mum genuinely seem embarrassing. She seems
N-
like an absolute angel of a mother.
Do you know what I did think about that episode? You like obviously with it being Aardman, it is very much relatable for us because we're British.
Yeah, yeah, no,
There
it's
was
very
a
British.
there was a lot of beats in it that I thought this is humorous to me because I understand these small British cultural like references to things.
Yeah,
I wonder how well that hits for like Americans and for
yeah.
people in other countries, whether they just like, oh, it's the Wallace and Gromit style, like we like it because of that. Um,
I mean, I don't know. Is Wallace and Gromit even well known around the world,
I
or is it very much
I
just
don't
a
know.
here thing?
I feel like it might be, but Um, episode 5 was Journey to the Dark Head, which was the pilot and the young Jedi.
Well, I think that was the best story.
I agree. I think that episode 5 and episode 9 are my two favorite. Um,
Yeah, I can definitely have them up there. I think the animation for episode 5 might be the most basic, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way because like it's still gorgeously well done, but
hmm,
it seemed like a more traditional style of animation.
if I yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I can't remember which studio did that, but yeah, no, I would agree on that. I thought it had a very strong story though.
The
and
story was
a
phenomenal. I
story
loved it.
that I would love to see more of.
Mm.
And
I want to know more about this temple where they
yeah,
sit on the knife's edge and they don't care one way or the other. They are just there to record everything. That
um,
is very interesting to me.
I also really loved the design of the Sith.
Mm.
Um, I thought that was a
I do love how much fun these studios have with designing their own lightsabers.
so. This is the thing, and it's like the way that the umbrella lightsaber in season one, this guy's chain thing that he can control, I think is a very cool weapon that people are going to fall in love with.
Mm,
And I would love to see something like that in live action. I think that would be sick to see.
yeah. Do you know what's really funny? And I always find this funny. Um, when Phantom Menace came out, a lot of the die-hard original trilogy fans weren't sure about the double-ended lightsaber. And like, let's be clear, it was only a thing because they wanted to sell toys. I don't
Yes.
think anyone's ever argued that. But as the generation who grew up with a double-ended lightsaber, I feel like we were a lot more accepting of Kylo Ren's hilt, even though we knew it was just
Yeah.
to sell toys. And I'm always down for these crazy little fucking changes to lightsabers. Yes, I understand it makes canon a bit more difficult because you're like, okay, why are we just seeing this now? But
Yeah.
my god,
Do you know what I
like
love
just
though?
let people be creative with their
Is
lightsabers.
it then causes like the fans that do love that stuff then spend the time to figure out how does this actually work?
Oh yeah, Disney never ever need to give a fuck about how it fits into lore because the fans who love the style will make it work.
Yeah, they'll find a
They,
way.
yeah, that they will fanfic it into canon and make it make sense.
Because that's what they did with Kylo Ren. It was just like, oh, these are exhaust things because it's unstable. And it's like,
Yeah, and
boom,
then
there
they
you
just
go.
went, yeah, you got it, well done. They're like, oh, fucking no.
Uh, but yeah, episode 5, I love that one. Um, episode 6 was the
Which one was
Spy
that?
Dancer. Oh, it was the one with the woman and all the stormtroopers for a show.
Oh, and her son was the Imperial officer.
Yes. I thought
I
visually,
loved the animation of that. I
yeah,
thought it was different,
the
but I
animation was
really liked it.
the animation was really cool. I loved like the kind of play on this idea of a show, and I really wasn't expecting the twist of the son. Like they really
Yeah,
caught me off guard with the like that being the son. They really built it up to be the old guy, and then
yeah,
boom, no, it's her son. I really enjoyed that. I loved this idea that there's all the stormtroopers going to a show and it's just like a rebel thing. It fit in very well.
yeah. I enjoyed the twist and the story of it as well. The idea that I mean, we know the Empire went around and stole children and
Yeah,
conscripted them to be stormtroopers, but the idea that some of them also became officers
yeah,
and they thought they lived that life that way their entire life, and their mother who literally birthed them is like part of the rebellion, and they've been indoctrinated so hard into the Empire
they don't
that
realize.
they think that the Empire is genuinely right. Um, and it was a very interesting story for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it's another one of ones that I'd happily probably watch another 15 minutes of to get a bit
Hmm.
more from it. But I think that's why they make these 15 minutes. A, so they can really have fun with the animation and they don't
Yeah.
have to rush any of that. But also, always leaving us wanting more
Hmm.
means that they can get more series out of this for longer. Because in reality, they could do probably 2 really bad seasons at this point already, and we'd still watch it all just in case they have another banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, so
Episode.
yeah, another really good episode. I mean, they're
Yeah,
all phenomenal.
they are. Episode 7 is the Bandits of Galak, which is the one we talked about with the Indian influence.
That
Um,
may very well be one of my favorites. I think 5, 7, and 9 are probably my 3 favorites, and I'm not sure what order I'd put them in.
so I love the story of 7 and I think the cultural side of it really fit in well. I love the idea of it like they basically took like those huge bustling trains from India and just shoved it into Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think that worked great. I love this idea of like finding the hidden Jedi who happened to be some old fucking lady who was
yeah.
badass. Loved all of that. Personally, wasn't a huge fan of just the visual style. It just didn't hit for me. Um,
I don't think it was anything outrageously special, but I still think it looked quite nice.
I don't. There was just a couple of like I don't know points where it threw me off, and I know it's probably just the artistic person in me where it just didn't like something just wasn't hitting right, and it kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. But I think
I
everything
did
else
enjoy
about it
the
was great.
Inquisitor's design.
Yeah, the Inquisitor was very
That
cool.
very much still being an Inquisitor, but having again them cultural elements to it that
Yeah,
didn't feel out of place, but still to us very clearly we knew where it was inspired from. I think is very well done. I think that deserves a lot of respect to
yeah.
merge East Asian culture into Star Wars so cleanly
Oh yeah,
without
yeah,
it feeling out of place is phenomenally well done. And the old lady Jedi is an absolute badass.
yeah, yeah. She really was. Uh,
Um,
episode
and
8. Go on.
which one was episode 8?
So episode 8 was the pit, the one with the prisoners in
Oh,
the
that
bottom.
was a great story as well. These episodes were so damn good.
Um, yeah, I thought it was a great story. The whole like using prisoners to it was very much like, oh, this is this is Star Wars. Like this makes
Yeah,
total sense using
this
prisoners to mine kyber crystals.
this is Andor.
Yeah, like and building like a city right next door, and they are clueless to what's going on.
Yeah,
Loved all that, and the whole like climbing out of the pit. Do you know what my brain immediately did?
you were born in the dark. I
Yeah,
was born in the
yeah.
darkness,
It
molded
immediately
by
took
it.
me to like
Yeah,
Bane
100%.
climbing out of the pit in Batman.
The second they all had to try and start climbing the
Yeah,
wall, I went straight back there as well.
my brain did that. I was not expecting that kid to just get thrown into the pit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was half expecting it to cut down to the bottom, and like he was stopping himself from falling using the force or something.
Yeah, so did I. And then no, it's
Um,
just body on the
he's
floor.
dead. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was fucking harrowing.
yeah. It hit that thing of Star Wars of like, oh, this is the dark world to live in. Um, but yeah, I loved that one. Loved the little thing we see at the end when she has this sliver of the kyber crystal and it turns blue. I thought that was
Yes,
really cool.
it like speaking to her, and then it stands up, and then it like connects with her, and it gets its
Hmm.
blue color. Chef's kiss, so good.
Yeah, really love that. And then episode 9, which I think is my number one episode of the series,
I think
uh,
it's definitely my favorite art style.
was our song, a hour.
Yeah,
Um,
8 hours song. Yeah.
I thought the story of she has this voice that can purify these corrupted kyber crystals, which plays into the whole like bleeding them and all that like stuff that has never been said is canon, but there's like so much discussion around it. The idea that like someone could use their voice to do that and purify them
Well, yeah.
was
So
such
like
a
we got
cool
like the very
idea.
iconic like scroll at the beginning of the episode, which I liked.
Yes.
And it was basically like on this planet, they've always had kyber crystals, and they always loved their kyber crystals. The Siths found out that the Jedi were getting their kyber crystals here, so an angry Sith turned up and poured all of their hatred into the planet to corrupt all of the kyber crystals.
Hmm. So now the
That is a
Jedi's
such a good concept.
yes, and now the Jedi spend time purifying them.
Yeah, so now that out of love for the Jedi and wanting their kyber crystals to still be worthy, they mine them very carefully, and then the Jedi's who have the time and patience will purify them.
I you saying about the scrolling text at the beginning, immediately when that started, I was like, oh my god, this is Star Wars. I was
Yeah,
like, there's something about yellow text to start off a Star Wars film or like
it
short or
puts
is
you
it
there,
it's
doesn't
just like
it?
yeah, you're just like I'm in Star Wars. I
Yeah.
love that little detail that they chose to do that. I love
The
the
art style is
style.
gorgeous,
Yeah, the art
so
style was
gorgeous.
so nice. Um, I'm pretty sure going off the accents that this was the South African
Yes, I believe
studio.
so.
So then the play on like the characters being sort of like tigers slash lions is hard to
Yeah,
tell. I actually quite liked. Like that was like a little nod to like
Yeah.
um but yeah, this idea that a voice could purify Kyber crystals is such a
Yeah.
clever story.
And it's really interesting as well because they kind of played it off a little bit like maybe she was being corrupted by these crystals. Because like we
Yeah,
see all these corrupt crystals talking to her and making her sing, and her dad's really worried because every time she sings, like they
but
get
cut short. It like
shaky and
yeah.
dangerous. And you're like, oh no, is she gonna like be turned to the dark side by all these evil
Mm-hmm.
crystals? And in reality, it's just they were calling out to her for help because they're in pain.
And
That's why
they
it's
just
called
needed
breathing
her
crystal, because the
to
crystal's
finish the
literally in
song.
pain,
Yeah.
and they're like, "We, you can help us. Please help us."
Something I think the reason this episode kind of takes the top point for me was like because it was around a song, the score and the music for this episode was
So good,
amazing and so well done. Like that brought it to a whole like next level for me.
exactly. And the visuals for her purifying all the crystals with that big song at
Yes.
the end, where like everything disappears and you just see all the crystals scattered throughout the mountain, turning pure.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful, and this is why animation is so clear because there is no way to create that same feeling in live
No,
action.
there really isn't. Um, but yeah, overall, I think they did an amazing job with season two. There was definitely more hits this time around
Yes.
than season one.
And I think spreading where the studios are based out
Hmm.
throughout the world and having as many styles as possible is definitely the right way to go.
I agree.
And I really want some studios to take some confidence in how well received both seasons have been for being and trying stuff. And I want a studio to really go, right, let's actually be fully artistic and just let this flow and really push the boat out. Let's really try something. Because maybe it won't work, but if it does work, you have a chance to be a genuine memory and a genuinely huge part of quite possibly the biggest franchise ever.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I'd love for like a season three if we got because we got very much we got a range of animation styles,
Hmm.
but they were all I would say leaned more to like abstract or cartoony.
Yeah,
I would love to have season three be like an even wider range to have like episode one is like a some weird painterly like out there style. There's like episode two is like game cinematic level of like CGI, like some crazy like a bigger range back and forth to really just like spread out on studios.
yeah,
I'd love to see like a bit more variety or
yeah.
wider variety, shall I say.
I really think they do just need to
Keep pumping.
any studio who can physically manage a project of this size, go to them. Hey guys, go work on this. One and all, go work on this. When it's ready, send it in to us, and every
Hmm.
time we have 9 episodes that are good enough, we'll put a series out and just make it like an open invite. Because if you do it that way, you can also potentially get some of these really small studios that are mega talented who can be like, "This is our chance."
Do you know what I think they should do? Kind of maybe because doing that opens up kind of a bit of a world of NDAs and whatnot.
Yeah.
But a really cool thing they could do is one of the 9 episodes should be fan submitted. Let
Oh, imagine
because there are some
how hype that would be for
incredible
someone.
fan shorts on
Imagine
YouTube.
like, yeah, imagine growing up like as the Clone Wars animated series was like coming out. Like if you were like born as that was coming out, so like you're 16 years old now, say, and
Hmm.
like in 2 or 3 years' time, you've loved Star Wars your entire life, and you find out that your episode's been chosen to be in season 3 of Visions.
Like you should be able to like they should do a submission thing. People can
The
submit.
only thing that hurts them is for individuals like that, it's a lot more difficult to get the voice actors.
Yeah, but nowadays there's so many like tools and abilities.
Yeah.
Like if you know you like, I think they could do it as like a you submit a draft for a story idea, and it's like or a concept of like a moment, so they can see the quality, and then it's
Yeah,
just like, okay, you're getting picked, you're greenlit to do your fan made thing, and then they're like, oh shit, now I've got to like pull all my friends in to do
yeah.
voice acting and whatnot. Like, I think it'd
Because
be
I
really
do love
cool.
the idea of fan art being able to become that.
Hmm.
But just because someone has a fantastic art style that really suits Star Wars doesn't mean they'll be able to come up with a good enough story or
Yeah,
know people who can do the voice acting is the only potential downside to that.
yeah,
But
no,
if Disney can find a way to make that work realistically, that would be so fucking cool.
yeah, it really would.
Um, right. Should we move on to the Nerd News Network?
I think we should.